So we have to ask ourselves, how are we doing? You know, how are we doing on this spiritual journey? You know, we've all been doing this stuff for many years, most of us anyway, and so where are we? And what the traditions, what the religions tell us is when we are seeing deeply, we're doing pretty well. You know, as much as you can stay awake, as much as you can, you know, expand your awareness, you're doing pretty good. You know, and I know that we're all, like Judy said, we're all kind of all over the place. Sometimes our limited awareness is there, and sometimes it's big. Sometimes it's big. We all have all of it. So that's what we're talking about today, is being able to see deeply and look at where you are on that journey. And if you can say that your worldview has changed a little bit, you know, you've gotten a little bit broader in your perspective, you're not so narrow-minded and opinionated about everything you see, you've changed. I know for me, I've seen that happen in these many years. You know, there's been a little growing there, maybe a little bit, you know, for each of us. We've become a little bit more compassionate with ourselves, with other people. You know, we're better people because of this journey that we've been on, because we have been able to see deeply. So I want to start with a few lines of an essay from Rainier Rilke. You know, do you know he is an awesome essayist? And what he says, because I read this and it just touches my heart so deeply. He says, I don't know why, but everything enters me more deeply and doesn't stop where it used to. I have an interior that I never knew of. Everything passes into it now. And then later on in the essay, he says, I am learning to see. And I just love that. You know, for some reason that resonates with me so much. It's like life, after a while, after this journey, after, you know, so many years of prayer and being awake, trying to be awake, you know, it's like you have grown enough to let life almost enter into you, right? So that's what this deep seeing is being able to see with your heart, see with your whole body, with every cell in your body, be able to see everything and let it enter in. And sometimes it hurts like hell, Judy said. That's true. And then sometimes it's so beautiful. But that's what life's about. You know, it's the beauty, and it's the joy, and it's the sorrows. And seeing deeply is to be able to see it all. It's letting life penetrate every cell in your body. Every cell. See, and this right here is a shift in our transformation. This is we're all on this journey to transform, to become bigger than we were when we started. And hopefully when we die, we can say that. I guess we won't be talking, maybe, huh? but we, you know, we'll be able to know, right? The traditions have said that for years. It was said when William Blake said, to see the world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower. That's what he meant. Seeing big, seeing everything with your whole being. Judy mentioned Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Vietnamese monk. And he talks about inner being, and you mentioned it a little bit, but inner being is so key to what we're talking about, this deep seeing. It's about seeing everything in the deepest way. He talks about seeing a cloud in a piece of paper, and that means seeing beyond the surface of just this piece of paper, that, you know, in the cloud is the rain, and without the rain there wouldn't be the tree, and without the tree there wouldn't be a paper. It's like we can see the whole of everything. And once we know that we're all a part of a whole, you know, that we're each other. We're part of the environment, part of each other, that we're not separate, we're seeing deeply. From seeing a part to the whole is huge. I worked with a book called Living Deeply, and we've worked with it before here. And it was actually done by two authors who work with IONS, which is the Institute of the Noetic Sciences. And they talked about people who have been deeply transformed, and they talk about seeing deeply a lot. And they said that after interviewing all of the people, that it came about that the words they used were double vision, that it was like seeing more than one reality at a time. Basically, I had to think about what that kind of meant. And I think what it means is that you see on the surface, like I was looking out, trying to look at my backyard today, this morning, it was so beautiful, and all I saw first, just the flowers, and then I saw all the stuff that needed to be done, right? I need to get the roses cut back, I need to do this and that. That was kind of surface seeing. But then when I let it go, this heart feeling of, oh my God, I'm so blessed. I love this yard. And all of this feeling almost in every part of my body came through me. And I think that's what we mean by seeing deeply, is that you feel every sense that you have is through your body. It's not just the surface eye seeing. See, have there ever been times in your life when you've just like seen something and you know that you know? It's just this huge awareness that God is in everything. And that's what they're talking about. It's you can see it and you know that all judgment, even labelings are gone. So when you see the flower, you're not labeling it as a rose. You're just seeing it as this beauty. You're seeing it as this deep, deep beauty. We've all had glimpses of it. And what that is a shift in consciousness. See, and so to see deeply, we have to shift our consciousness. We have to expand this limited awareness that we have, because we're all limited beings. And as we start to shift, and we start to drop to our heart, and we start to see each other in love, we expand our awareness. And what they said was, we gotta want it, right? You don't just come to a spiritual center and sit and do nothing all week. You gotta want it, and you gotta work on it, and you gotta practice. You gotta see people that you don't get along with, or you don't like, or something, and be able to use them. And use them to see the God in them. To see love everywhere. To see it in everything. Because that's what this is about. It's about dropping to your heart and seeing everything that comes into your field of awareness in that light. What is consciousness? We talk about it, consciousness, that's what we are, a center of consciousness. And what living deeply says consciousness is a worldview. It's a way you see the world. It's what you're capable of seeing. What is your perception of reality? What is your perception? See? And when our perception expands, we see more. I love this because think about, Judy mentioned it, but I'm going to go deeper. Our worldview, not that I'm doing any deeper than you, I didn't mean that. But I want to go further. Our worldview or our consciousness determines that we are capable of seeing, and so determines our perception of reality. When we expand our view, we see that more is possible. So do you understand that when your view of consciousness, when your consciousness expands, you see more. Your possibilities are more in your life, right? You have more possibilities. You're not so rigid in what you can see. I love that. I love that. We see deeper. We have new eyes. And everything is consciousness. And sometimes when we're in that, the scary parts of life, he calls them the icky parts of life, that's when we're restricted. That's when our consciousness is so tight. And the minute that we breathe, and the minute that we drop to our heart, our consciousness expands and we get more possibilities. That's where your answers are. Your answers aren't in your head. Your answers are in your heart. Because that's where heart intelligence comes in. That's where God is. That's where the higher intelligence is. See? And we fall in and out all the time. I guess the best way to describe it, there was a Tibetan Lama, Rinpoche, and what he did was, I like this because it makes me kind of think about it. His students, he showed this floppy V shape on a sheet of paper, and then he asked what they saw. So I kind of did that up here. What do you see? What do you guys see? Yell it out. A bird. Okay, a bird. Okay, that's what his student said too, see? His student said it was a bird, but he said no. He said, it's not a bird. He says it's a sky with a bird flying through it, right? Okay, so you're limited, in your focus of just seeing the bird. But when you open your eyes, right, there's more possibilities. This is a whole sky, a whole world, right, with a bird flying through it. Because our focus is narrow in our life. In politics, I mentioned politics, you mentioned it. It's like we're so focused on what we think is right. We don't know. We think we do. We don't. Our idea growing is to expand and to make room for other people's opinions too, because it's not just about our opinion. Proust said the voyage of discovery is not in seeking new vistas, but in having new eyes. New eyes. I just read a study, and I'm not going to get into it, but I just wanted to mention it, is that we can actually see from our heart. I love that. They did, I'm not going to get into it, it's too long. But anyway, you can actually see. See. Isn't that amazing? So it comes to you, you know what it is. Because you feel it. See, we're sense beings. When we go deeper, we can sense with our whole being. And when we can do that, we can sense each other, right? You know, here in the United States, we just go, hi, hello. In other cultures, boy, that hi and hello means something. It means something deeper. It means that there is a connection. I found 4 different greetings that mean something that are so incredible. There's this one story I saw from, it's an African tribe, and when they see each other, right? They see each other, they meet somebody, and they go, I see you. And then the person answers, I am here. I am here. And that's what they do all the time. It's because they're validated. The person is validated. They know they're connected. This is part of seeing deeply. It's this gift of validation, of acceptance that we have for each other. So when you go out here today, you can, say, I see you. And then you guys need to answer back. I am here. I've been seen. Yes, I've been seen. See? Because we all want to be seen. We really do. We want to be known. In India, it's the namaste. The divine in me greets the divine in you. We see each other. I love that. In South Africa, there's a saying called, I've talked about it before, it's called Ubuntu, and I love that. You know what it is? It's when we greet each other, we say Ubuntu means, I am because you are. Don't you love that? I am because you are. Without you, I'm not here. We need each other. You guys, we need each other. And we need to see deeply beyond the surfaces of each other. In the Native American, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Oh, yes, I will. Madakaya Oaisen, okay? What that means is, may we realize that we are all one. So every time you greet somebody, you're saying, we're one. May we realize we're all one. We are connected. We are so connected. We want to be seen. Hide and seek. I play hide and seek with my grandkids. I used to play with, when they were babies, peekaboo, and they want to be seen. They want to be found, right? Everybody wants to be seen and found, and that's how we do it, by seeing each other deeply, by opening our heart, by dropping to this incredible heart space and seeing deeply. That's how we allow the world to move us. That's what we're here for, to let the world live through us, to be the doorways of God. I love what you just said, Judy. I love that idea of the doorways of God. So I'm going to close with David Ulrich, a thing from his essay, a little writing from his essay. And David Ulrich is a photographer. And I just found him, and I started looking at his pictures, and I started reading his things. He went blind in one eye and started this whole process of seeing deeply. And his photography is more beautiful than ever. He said his photography wasn't about the eyes, it was about the body. About dropping to his senses and sensing with his whole being and taking pictures and writing from there. And here's what he has to say, and then I'll close. To deeply see means to allow oneself to be present. Simply that. To occupy the moment. Simply that. To observe. Simply that. To act from our seeing. Simply that. To bring oneself into the world with integrity and sensitivity, simply that. To know the world and oneself directly in the here and now, simply that. To be open and permeable to the world around us, passing through us and within us, simply that. To awaken, simply that. This is our becoming. So my prayer for all of us today is that we deeply, deeply see. Thank you.